Hey guys, it's Brandy here, and I understand that I look like trash, and that I have SpongeBob wallpaper, and that, it's like 2 a.m., but I have a story to tell you, and it couldn't wait. And I know what you're probably asking yourself. You're probably like, wow, was this story really that important that it couldn't wait? Probably not. But I'm going to tell you anyways, because, So as you guys probably know, I was at Warped Tour like 2 days ago. Just kidding, you don't know this. I have no fan base. But, so I was at Warped Tour, and in case you guys don't know what that is, it's like a music festival that a bunch of different bands play at, like The Amity Affliction, like Beartooth, Pierce the Veil, Black Veil Brides. It's all a lot of fun. But here's the story, okay? So there was one band in particular that I came there to see, and I was really excited to see them, and that was Never Shout Never. And Christopher Drew is just my life, and I just love him. And so I wanted to go see Never Shout Never, but the group that I was going with was into the hardcore stuff, if you know what I mean. And so none of them wanted to go with me, and I was just like, this sucks. And so I called my other friend up who didn't go with the group that I was going with, and I was like, hey, emergency, I really want to go see Never Shout Never, and no one wants to go see it with me. Will you please go see it with me? And he texted me back, and he's like, oh yeah, sure, okay. So I was like, yay, I don't have to go alone and get mugged or whatever. And so we go, we're having a great time. Like, Christopher Drew was freaking amazing, and they did a Seven Nation Army cover. They did their Bright Side cover on the Bright Side, and they did, whatever. And it was all really cool, and then as the concert ended, he looked a little down, and he had just read something from his phone, and I was like, hey, what's the matter? And he's like, I just missed the Riff Raff concert. And I don't know if you guys understand my hatred for Riff Raff. Like, I would not have gone to the concert even if he asked me. Like, it was, like, it's really hard for me to just be sympathetic for him for missing the Riff Raff concert, because it's literally just that awful. He's that bad. I did kind of feel bad on some kind of level, because that's who he was there to see, and if I would have missed Never Shout Never, that would have sucked. And so, but I really didn't know what to do, like, at that point for him. I was like, sorry, like, that you missed Riff Raff, and he's like, oh, that's okay. And so we go back to the pavilion where Riff Raff was, and his friends come running up to him, not Riff Raff's, the kid I was with. His friends came running up, and they were like, oh, dude, Riff Raff was awesome. And then the guy, like, walking behind them was like, Riff Raff sucked. And I was like, yeah, probably. And so, apparently, in the tent, like, right across from where we were, standing by the pavilion, Riff Raff was in that tent. And he was meeting people, okay? And my friend, he was like, oh, sweet. Like, we have to meet Riff Raff. Like, we have to. It's my dream. And I was like, I better be going. He's like, no, wait, the least you can do is wait in line with me to meet Riff Raff. And I'm just like, being the kind-hearted soul that I am, I was like, okay, like, fine, I'll wait in the line with you to go meet Riff Raff. And so the line was like a mile long, like a mile. It wrapped around the pavilion multiple times, like, just to get to the tent where Riff Raff was. And I started thinking to myself, like, is Riff Raff really, like, that good? He has that, like, dedicated of a fan base. Like, good for Riff Raff. And so we actually had, like, a decent spot in line. I mean, granted, it still took us, like, a whole freaking hour for just us to get to the front of the line. But I waited anyways because, he saw Never Shout Never with me. And so as we get to the front of the line, the big bodyguard, he's like, yeah, you can't see Riff Raff. And I was like, why? I was like, I just waited, like, an entire hour to go see Riff Raff, and I'm mad about it. And he's like, you have to buy Riff Raff merchandise in order to meet Riff Raff. I'm sure he's rich too, but... And I was like, I don't want to buy Riff Raff merchandise. I hate Riff Raff. And then, here's the gold moment. Riff Raff is inside the tent, and all I saw was, like, the corner of his eye, and his fingers come out of the tent, and he looks me dead in the eye, and he's like... And my heart is just palpitating. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, Riff Raff is, like, pointing at me. He recognizes me. I'm like, I don't know. And he's like... So I was like, I better not, like, mess with Riff Raff. Like, he doesn't look like he's playing. And so I walk inside the tent, and I didn't really know how to react. I was like, I extended my hand. I was like, hi, Mr. Riff Raff. And he just is like, your name, and I told him, I was like, well, I'm Brandy. He's like, oh, and he's like, did you enjoy the show? And I was like, I didn't watch the show. I don't like you, Riff Raff. I mean, I'm sure you're a great person, but I mean, you know, I just am into other things. I'm into other, and he's like, interesting, and I'm just like, you know, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure anybody else in that line would have been thrilled of having, like, more than a 90-second conversation with Riff Raff, and the bodyguards were, like, telling Riff Raff, like, she didn't buy any merchandise, like, she didn't even watch your concert, and Riff Raff was just so nice, and he was just like, oh, like, you know, whatever, I'm gonna talk to her anyways, like, the only person in the line who actually, like, hates my music, and so, the guards, like, they just wanted to keep this huge mile-long line moving. They were just like, okay, Riff Raff, you gotta wrap it up, you know, no pun intended. And he was just like, you know, talking to me. And, like, seriously, like, you were just supposed to go into that tent really quick, take a selfie, and leave, like, to keep the line moving. But he spent, like, a good amount of time talking to me. And as I'm like, okay, Riff Raff, like, I should probably go, he looks at me for a second, and it's a little awkward, and then he picks up this towel. Wait, this towel right here. Hold on. Okay, so he picks up this towel, right? And he wipes the sweat off of his face. And he's like, do you want my sweat towel? And I was like, I guess, Riff Raff. I mean, if that's what you want. If you want me to have this towel, like, I mean, I'm not going to refuse. And so he gives me the towel. And I was like, thank you, Riff Raff. And he's like, anytime, Brandy. And so, you know, with his, like, you know, he smiled at me with his, like, weird pointy shark grill that he wears. And so as I'm walking out of the tent, a million guys just come approach me, and they're like, I will pay you $75 for that sweat towel. And this sweat towel is, like, soaking wet. I mean, it's, like, maybe not soaking, it's, like, more, like, moist. You know what I mean? And so I'm just like, nah. I was like, this isn't for sale. And the only reason I really wanted to keep it, I probably would have thrown it away anyways. I wanted to show my brother because my brother likes Riff Raff, I guess. And so, I feel like he wouldn't believe me if I didn't bring. Yeah, and so the rest of Warped Tour was fun. I got to meet the entire band of, We Came as Romans. And, I got to meet Christopher Drew, like, hello, like, that's pretty important. Yeah, that was fun. And then, there was a truck there, and it said, like, we pay you $1 every time you watch this 4-minute video. I'm like, okay, sure, like, why not? Like, how bad can this video be? And so, you know, I go to the truck, and I put in my email, and I watch the 4-minute video, and it's about, like, animal abuse, like, chicken-wise. Like, I mean, like, they're putting chickens through a grater, they're slaughtering cows in half, they're shooting pigs in the head, and it's like, you know, and then it ends, and then they say, like, on the screen it says, like, find the, like, nearest volunteer to retrieve your $1. Like, I just watched a 4-minute video on animals getting slaughtered. Do you really think that I'm in, like, the greedy mood to go to a volunteer and have the audacity to ask him for $1? So, like, no, I ain't about that life. So this will be the actual end of this video, I promise. Thank you so much if you listened this far. I know I'm, like, awfully, like, awkward, and, yeah, so kudos to you for watching me. Let me know if I should make more videos, and go to Warped Tour because it's really fun, and... Oh, and Paris was really good. I just want to say, like, I didn't go to Paris, but Paris is a band at Warped Tour. Dang, that lead singer can really, like, props to her. Like, she has a fantastic voice. Okay, I'm done now, or I'm just going to keep babbling on. This is a drumstick. Say hi, drumstick. Hi, drumstick. Okay, bye. Have a good life.